Justin Gaethje has opened up about a past drug addiction he kept hidden from his parents. During a recent appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast, Gaethje revealed he was probably a drug addict at one point in his life, explaining that growing up in a small town left him with few other options. He also shared that his aspiration to work in human services made it crucial for him to understand the individuals he hoped to assist.
I was never thank God I was never an alcoholic, but I could say I was probably a drug addict at one time in my life. And
what drugs?
I don't know. I have never told my parents about this, so I don't know.
You don't have to.
All of them. But it's and I know this is gonna sound stupid, but so I went to school for human services. I wanted to help people. A big part of that is helping people come off drugs, and I lost over a handful of friends, really close friends from where I come from. We're not far from Mexico, and we had the best. We had the best shit coming right across the border before it ever got cut up, and it was my life. Where I'm from is very boring, and so you chase again. We have it so good in this country. We're always trying to create chaos in order to feel something, and I guess that's what I was probably doing. And in college is when I really, I was like, if I'm going to help people come off drugs, then how can I ever even try to understand if I don't know what they're chasing? And so that was a part of it. And also a part was it felt good. And so, once I did certain things, I knew what people were chasing. But then I always knew that something was bigger for me and better for me, and I had something to do. And so that was always, it was never a crutch for me. I was always like, that was awesome. I'm not.
Comment below. Who's winning on July 11th, Max or McGregor? And hit that subscribe button. I'm still a small channel on the road to 500 subs, and I work hard every single day to bring you the latest MMA news, reactions, and fight updates. Alexander Volkanovski has weighed in on the UFC Freedom 250 controversy, siding with Alex Pereira. In a recent YouTube video, Volkanovski questioned referee Herb Dean's handling of the back of the head shots Pereira absorbed from Cyril Gane. Volk stated he was shocked. Dean didn't even issue Gane a warning, criticizing the referee's response to the situation. He described the incident as a bad look for the sport and argued it deserves much more discussion.
This is going to happen. We're fighters. You hurt someone, you go for the finish, this stuff's going to happen because you're trying to go for the finish and you're just, you're going for it. I'm not saying I did it on purpose, but I felt like the refs, maybe, Herb, I love you, mate, but I feel like you should have been pretty vocal. Watch the back of the head. I don't even, I remember looking and he'd seen a couple of men and he wasn't. And I'm like, it's not even telling him to watch the back of the head. I'm like, what's going on here type thing. I'm not just, maybe the angle was a bad angle for him. But that's how many shots to the back of the head was happening, that I would seen a couple, then went to look at the ref to see he was even saying anything. I was not even saying it, and looking back, man, he's still going. I kept looking back. I'm talking, there was a decent amount of time with a lot of shots to the back of the head. Again, I'm taking it away from Gane because I'm talking about this quite a bit. But it should be a talking point. I'm not taking it away from Gane. I feel like maybe if Herb was saying, watch the back of the head, he would have maybe, I didn't realize I was hidden, maybe he would think, or he would try better to get around. But I felt like, could that be a different outcome? Probably not, right? But we never know, because he was proper wobbled. As soon as he got up, he was wobbled. Could there be a different outcome if you hurt Pereira? Because he was obviously doing the right stuff to recover. So he was on his way to recover until there was a lot of other shots. It's a pretty big deal.
Dricus du Plessis has finally addressed his upcoming fight against Kamaru Usman, announced for UFC Fight Night on July 18th. Speaking on Fight Forecast, DDP revealed details about the negotiation process, stating that Usman was initially reluctant to sign the contract. However, the UFC ultimately persuaded him to accept the bout.
Been long. I was supposed to fight in April, got the injury, and man, I think that was all for a reason, because the fire in me to get back in there is like never before. I'm feeling great. Camp is going great. I know he didn't want to sign the contract. I know that for a fact. I spoke to UFC and they said, we find it convincing to sign. If you need convincing to sign, that's a problem. But I can't blame him. I'd also not want to fight me right now. It would be the smart move not to sign the fight. But
Alex Pereira is reportedly considering retirement amidst controversy surrounding officiating and referee Herb Dean. In the weeks following UFC Freedom 250, Pereira has repeatedly criticized both Dean and Cyril Gane, accusing Gane of landing several illegal blows to the back of the head in the final seconds of their fight. Despite having multiple intriguing options for his next bout, Pereira states he is prepared to walk away if his desired changes to MMA officiating are not implemented. In a recent Instagram story, Poten admitted he is ready to hang up the gloves, stating, "Honestly, I'm afraid to go back to fighting with all this going on. I think I've already done my part." Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett continues his verbal jabs at Topuria in the aftermath of UFC Freedom 250. In a recent YouTube video, Pimblett remarked he couldn't get over going 5 rounds with Justin Gaethje, especially since, according to Pimblett, Justin made Topuria quit on the stool.
But Monday morning, getting up and watching that, came in more motivated. You know, I went 5 rounds with Gaethje and was pushing the pace to the very end. I didn't quit. I kept coming forward, trying to finish the fight, you know what I mean? And I think I won 3 and 5, so he beat me 3-2. One of the judges agreed. And if a lot of different things didn't happen in that fight, like high gouges and low blows and then faking low blows, then it would have been a different fight. Got to get on with it now. No point crying over spilt milk. Just hope I get to fight him again. As I say, he's the undisputed champion now. I went 5 rounds with the undisputed champion.
Paddy also candidly admitted he is not currently in a position to demand a rematch against Justin Gaethje.
The weekend, I don't think it's a #1 contender fight. Like, I think Arman's probably still #1 contender, but Justin said himself that Charles has beaten before, so we'd like to fight Charles again. Charles could end up getting the title shot. Perfect time to make Ilya versus Arman, like, because Arman's been calling Ilya out for years. But there's so many different variables in the lightweight division now, you don't know. I'd love to beat BSD and get a rematch with Justin, but I can't really demand that after a 1-fight win streak, so we'll just have to see what happens over the coming.
Garry asserts he would present the most formidable challenge to Islam Makhachev. Speaking recently with Ariel Helwani, Garry claimed Makhachev is deliberately avoiding him, considering him the toughest potential opponent at welterweight. This, Garry suggests, explains why Makhachev has instead pursued fights against Carlos Prates, Kamaru Usman, and Michael Morales.
This feeling in my heart that they know I'm the trickiest opponent for him. That's why he's calling out Patches. That's why he's calling out Morales. That's why the champion of the world, one of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen, called out Kamaru Usman to defend his world title fight against. Does that make sense? He knows I'm long, I'm tall, I'm fast, I'm rangy. I understand distance management and control. And if you want to flip that into a terrible wording, then you'll say what he said. But if you want to talk about it from an elite standpoint of view, I don't get hit. Very rarely. It's never clean, it's never connected. Do you know what I mean? I'm always just out, and the people don't have that success. I'm tricky on the feet, I'm tricky on the ground, I'm hard to touch, I'm hard to control, I'm hard to predict what I'm gonna do, I'm hard to read. All of those are elite stand-up and grappling. So from my point of view, there is nobody in this division that is a trickier matchup for Islam Makhachev. I'm 6'3", I'm long, I'm tall, I'm beautiful. I know how to use my hands, my feet. I know how to stop the takedown. I stopped 15 of 17 takedowns from Shavkat and Bilal Muhammad. I know what I'm doing in this sport. 4 people in this sport since I made my UFC debut have double-digit wins. And me and Islam are 2 of them. This is the right fight. This is the fight that has.
Dricus du Plessis also clarified why he isn't fighting someone like Nassourdine Imavov next, stating that he believes Kamaru Usman is the greatest welterweight of all time, and he wants to test his grappling against him instead of facing another striker.
Why don't you fight Imavov? I don't mind that fight either. I want to fight somebody that gets me to my title again. Kamaru Usman, yes, he's a bit older, but now you look at what Gaethje just did. Yeah. So that throws that argument out the window immediately. Kamaru Usman is arguably the best welterweight ever, alongside with St-Pierre, if you go on title defense and all that. So he started his career out at middleweight, has a win over Sean Strickland, had that very close fight with Hamza Chimaev, and that's why I wanted this fight. What's it going to mean for me to go out there and beat another striker? I've done that many times. I've defended my belt against strikers. I've beaten the best, which is Strickland, at middleweight twice. So why go out there and fight another striker? People are going to be like, yeah, okay, well, we know he can strike. What about the wrestling and grappling because of my last fight? I want to go out there and prove what I've done.
MMA veteran Dustin Poirier was arrested on Father's Day, June 21st, 2026, in Georgia, facing a charge of public drunkenness, as reported by TMZ. The 37-year-old, who retired in July 2025, was booked at 6:38 p.m. and released just after 10 p.m. that same evening. Clayton County court records confirm Poirier's arrest for a misdemeanor public drunk offense. While the full circumstances leading to the arrest remain unclear, Poirier made his initial court appearance on Monday morning, and his mugshot has since been revealed. Adding to the situation, Ben Askren insinuated it was not serious, posting a video on X that showed Poirier playfully wrestling with Askren's friends.
Grab it, please. Please. Start in the clinch like Nothing, bro. Nothing.
Following news of his arrest, Dustin Poirier quickly released a brief statement on his Instagram, simply writing, "Love you all, I'm working on myself." Meanwhile, longtime rival Colby Covington wasted no time reacting to the unfolding situation. Amidst the controversy, Covington took to social media, posting a video directly mocking the former interim lightweight champion after his arrest.
America's champ here, and I just want to take a moment and have a toast to Father of the Year, Dustin Poirier. Nothing says role model and family man like being arrested for public intoxication at 37 years old at 6:38 p.m. on Father's Day. Cheers to you, Dustin. Next time, try an ice-cold Real American Beer Zero. It's great for people who want to be social and not get blackout drunk and act like Louisiana swamp trash. Hit me up when you get out of the slammer, and I'll get a pallet over to you, buddy. Cheers.
George says if he was in Gaethje's place, he would have retired.
He's a kind of guy that works really hard, and he comes back from adversity. It's really inspiring to see what he has accomplished.
Yeah.
You might not like what I'm gonna say, but if I were him, because I like him,
Right off in the sunset.
Yeah.
We said
Retirement.
the same thing. We said the same
I
thing.
heard Demetrius Johnson said it, but that's what I would do. That would be an amazing ending. What else does he want to accomplish? He did it all. He did it all. Of course, he will. For money, if you stop now, you have under the impression you leave money on the table, maybe, because you're fighting for a title. But and I'm sure he can still beat a lot of guys. Maybe he can still go on a roll because he still can do it. But health, I think, is the priority, and also the fact that, man, when you're a professional athlete in combat sport, it's very hard to retire on top because you're always tempted to see, oh, I can do one more. And you probably can do, but man, what a magnificent way to end a career it would be for him.
Justin Gaethje wants UFC to create a company and give him equity in that company.
I deserve to be compensated for what I have done.
100%.
Not for what I'm going to do, or I shouldn't have to fight next to be UFC 300, UFC 324, and now this. Those are the biggest stages that the UFC needed somebody to do something phenomenal. And they picked me every single time, and I delivered. I wasn't the main event of UFC 300, but co-main event still stole the show, even though I lost. And so I think I need to be compensated for what I've done. That's where I'm at.
So you're
But
talking about
that's
in the future for like a next fight?
Like,
yeah, renegotiation.
No, I'm not talking about for the next fight. I'm talking about the UFC should make a company and give me equity in that company, and so I can build passive income like that. Like, I'm not saying that's what.
Have you talked to them about something?
No,
like that?
no, I would. I've never asked. Luckily, I have a personal assistant now, so she asks for things for me. But I've never been the guy that asks for things. I wish people that were opposite of me that ask for things and get all kinds of things, I wish I was given those things without asking, because obviously people know that it's appreciated and I like it.
Dricus du Plessis. On upcoming fight versus Kamaru Usman, he didn't want to sign the contract.
Kamaru Usman, yes, he's a bit older, but now you look at what Gaethje just did. So that throws that argument out the window immediately. And that's why I wanted this fight. What's it going to mean for me to go out there and beat another striker? I've done that many times. I've defended my belt against strikers. Why go out there and fight another striker? People are going to be like, yeah, okay, well, we know he can strike. What about the wrestling? I want to go out there and prove what I've done. Prove, like I said, go out and figure this out and go show the problem that the middleweights have on their hands now, because now I am more complete, and I was a complete fighter, but now I am complete in all areas, and I can't wait to go and show that. He didn't want to sign the contract. I know that for a fact. I spoke to UFC and they said, we finally convinced him to sign. If you need convincing to sign, that's a problem. I can't blame him. I'd also not want to fight me right now. It would be the smart move not to sign the fight, but let's go.
Josh Hokit fires back at Rashad Evans' suggestion that he'd refuse to fight teammate Gable Steveson.
Like him and Hokit for that title nearby, sometime in the future.
I mean, and it's crazy because they're in the same camp. But speaking of Hokit,
oh, that's right.
Yeah, they're
They're
in the same camp, and Hokit was like, look, if we lock up, as far as in the same team training together, I wouldn't mind going to a different weight class.
They said, who said that?
Hokit said that.
Hokit said that?
Yeah, he will go to.
So he's not interested in fighting a teammate?
No, he don't want to fight a teammate.
That's interesting.
I would have thought Hokit fight his mom.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
Yeah,
For as much garbage as he talk, he don't want to fight a teammate?
Nah, he said he's down to be a team player. He said he's with that. He said, I mean, that's what I guess the whole Jackson's,
Yeah, so I mean,
Not what I want to see though.
Yeah, I know that's not what we want.
Because if he's number one and Gable's number two, that's what I want to see. I at least us. I know my boy Rashad didn't. I know you wouldn't. We didn't get in here to high five. If it's a teammate, we're fighting the teammate. If he's the greatest in the world or not, it's
I
just.
never had an issue with that.
We'd be friends after. I never really saw it like it's a problem. I don't want to fight ever a teammate, but if it's for something important like the belt or the number one ranking, what are we doing? We didn't get in here to make friends, So.
Yeah.
The UFC has officially unveiled its new meta rankings, marking a significant departure from the traditional ranking system that has been in place for over 13 years. This new system utilizes a mathematical rating approach, where winning remains the primary factor, accounting for approximately 95% of a fighter's ranking movement. The UFC emphasizes that the quality of opposition is crucial, with victories over higher-ranked opponents carrying more weight than those against lower-ranked ones. In addition to winning, activity level now plays a more substantial role. Fighters who compete regularly will receive a boost, while those with extended layoffs will see their older wins gradually lose value over time. This means that ranking fluctuations may occur more rapidly than under the old system. Furthermore, athletes who finish fights will receive a slight ratings increase. Notably, the UFC has opted to eliminate the pound-for-pound list, at least for the time being. The organization's goal with the meta rankings is to create a distinct system, rather than simply replicating media rankings. The UFC meta rankings will be automatically updated every Monday following an official UFC event, leveraging a combination of statistical modeling, machine learning, and expert domain knowledge to evaluate a range of objective metrics. These metrics include outcome probability, win type, fighter trajectory, and weight class sensitivities. The system treats wins and losses differently, with dominant finishes against top-ranked opponents holding more significance than close decisions against unranked ones. Recency of competition is also a key factor, with more recent fights carrying greater weight and inactivity penalties applied to fighters who go extended periods without competing. By relying solely on measurable fight data, the UFC meta rankings aim to provide an accurate reflection of a fighter's competitive performance within the octagon.
Up here now, wait a minute.
Marker?
I can't handle incompetence. I can't take it anymore. And I can't let people that I don't believe know what they're talking about deal with the rankings anymore. I just can't do it. I have to figure out a solution.
So can you explain what was going on in your head in that press conference and how the rankings were flawed?
Well, I think the old ranking system, though, is a combination of laziness, bias, no knowledge of the actual sport. We can definitely make it better.
And who were the people that were going to fix it?
That would be the engineering team here at Meta. Our task: build a new ranking system that's determined by data from fights, not opinions. One that's objective and fair. Social media followers, how famous you are, none of that factors in. I'll let Offi tell you how it works.
The algorithm doesn't just factor in wins, it's how you win. Dominant finishes are rewarded more than split decision. Tournament quality matters too. And fighters who don't compete drop in rankings over time. It combines statistical modeling and machine learning to process real fight data, with rankings updating after every UFC event.
Ranking is inherently complex. No single approach captures everything. But this one is objective, consistent, and built entirely on what happens inside the octagon. How's that sound, Dana?
Sounds great. I mean, really all I care about is that the rankings are fair, they're as close to perfect as possible, and I'm ready to go live.
Well, it is live.
Oh, well, beautiful. Thank you.
Here's the top comment from the last video. I think it would be polite to take the truck. He wants to let them do it. And I love the politeness of that move. Did you see Justin's face when he said Arman is next? Haha, he doesn't want him to be next. That's priceless. And then there's this one. He's mad because it's a gift. No bad intentions. I can see why he'd feel that way. Hard to be a Justin fan when he acts like a moron. Ouch, harsh words. But I get why you'd think that. And there were tons more like these. What do you think? Drop your comments below for the next video. That's it for the comments. Keep them coming, because the best ones get read on the next video. Drop your fight picks and hot takes below, smash that subscribe button, and stay locked in for more MMA breakdowns and breaking news every single day.